first off with a story from MSN about your children are apparently reading the wrong books. The local Australian, I would say, golden collection of books that we all read as a kid. Possum Magic, Harry McClary, Very Hungry Caterpillar, even Rainbow Fish by Marcus Pfister. Love the last name. Wombat Stew also is in there. We're going on a bear hunt and Where the Wild Things Are. They are not inclusive enough, and if you let your children read them, you are indoctrinating them into a heteronormative world. A lady from a very exclusive university, Dr. Helen Adam, as seen here, published a paper about how we are indoctrinating our children and more so excluding Australian multiculturalism by letting your children read these books. We shouldn't let our kids read these classic books. That's not the issue with her. The issue I had is with Sunrise. Now, Sunrise here, instead of just asking her opinion, doubt they read the paper at all, but they obviously made it sound worse than it is. But they go into detail here in the interview with her about
further decreases the likelihood of children.
What books you should let your kids read. Now, these ones are... let me turn that down for you. These ones are classic books in Australia. There's nothing wrong with them. Some of them are quite old. They don't talk about gender or anything like that. Basically is her issue. And apparently Koshi's issue as well. Now, I'm not a fan of Koshi. I don't think many people are anymore. He has shown his true colours many a time. He is, I believe, in my opinion, a disgusting human being, and he should not be on television. And it wouldn't surprise me in a few years' time if it ever came out that he had some dirty laundry, let's say. But enough of him. Let's get back to Dr. Helen. Now, Dr. Helen wants your kids to read more diverse books. She doesn't necessarily want us to burn these Australian classic books, which is quite tame for some people like her. I'll give her that. She's not as evil as the media is making her sound, but I do not think her heart is in the right place. I mean, look at the fucking haircut. She's going to come back in and throw a latte at you if it's too fucking cold, and she will do it. She wants to speak to your manager now. So the study had 44 educators working with 271 children and over 186 books across 8 early learning centres in the Australia and the US. Now, she's based out of Western Australia, so I'd say she did a little bit of her own study there as well. The study concluded that 90% of the books that I'm guessing kids were reading did not represent multicultural Australia. See, if they were testing, I wonder how many kids they were testing in the US, because I doubt any of the kids in the US can read and were reading any books that would represent multiculturalism in Australia. So that could be a very based argument there. And they're not inclusive enough. Many of the older books in the study were first published in the 1950s and 60s. Now, I don't remember in Harry McClary if anyone was going around beating their wife and smoking cigarettes and talking like a 1940s gangster, but I could be wrong. I don't really see the issue. It's a story about a dog. And then Possum Magic was a story about possums that wore clothes and whatnot. I don't see why they have to bring sex into everything. Now, if you look at Dr. Helen, she, her, Very, very up on the fucking bandwagon there. Actually, only just joined Twitter. I think she's just come out and found herself a little niche where she can get a little bit of notoriety and get a little bit of fame out of something. So I don't think it's too in-depth. But I believe this is just chipping away at our education system. Like if you look at Victoria and their Safe Schools Act, there's a lot of disgusting things going on there. Teaching your kids how to masturbate, I think when they're 7 and younger. I mean, sex ed definitely has a place in the school. Parents should really teach their kids sex ed, but, you know, it is part of life, and they are going to find out at a younger age, but I don't know about teaching your 5, 6 and 7-year-olds how to masturbate is a very good idea. Or that possums are inclusive. They're not inclusive enough, and every single character in the book has to be a transgender binary Aboriginal Taiwanese person, I suppose, that has a disability. It's all a little sad. But this is just another chip in the block of them attacking people's children and starting to get rid of the parents' grasp on them, I believe. Now, a lot of parents don't have much to do with their kids. They send them off to the school and make sure they're clothed and fed and expect the teachers to do everything. Unless they're called in for a PTA meeting, they don't really give a shit, which I can understand that because it seems very, very boring. But when you find out about all these dark little sneaky things they are sticking into the curriculum, it gets scarier and scarier the more you look at it. If you don't know anything about what your kids are learning at school, it might be the time to go and find out. Now, Dr. Helen, I don't think this will be the last we see of her. This is just a slight jab. And look, she's got Dr. Helen, hashtag inclusive, hashtag diverse books, hashtag cultural diversity. So I don't see what's wrong with kids just reading books about magic possums and hairy dogs and rainbow fish. See, I thought rainbow fish should be on that curriculum. Like on her pay, I thought she'd be a fan of rainbow fish. There's nothing wrong with rainbow fish. I thought it was something to do with like everyone's unique and individual and they're all special in their own little way. And I think Dr. Helen's very special in her own little way. But not to rag on her too much, but when Koshi starts prompting that little comments that he makes about, oh, that's a good idea, teach your kids about having gay parents, things like that. It's not Koshi's fucking business. It's not someone on Channel 7, Channel 9, Channel 10, ABC, SBS's fucking business what people do with their kids. If your kids are being fed, well taken care of, taught everything they need to know, stay the fuck out of it. But no, they want to dig deeper into your personal life and twist what you're teaching your kids so that they approve of it. And Koshi is just another mouthpiece, one of the vocal ones in Australia we have here.